Hi, welcome to the REVOLVER Fan First podcast. I'm your host, Christina Rowatt, and joining me today is the very first Australian to ever grace this podcast, Winston McCall of Parkway Drive.
How you doing?
It's great to be here.
It's great to be here as well.
Yeah.
Bit of an honour. Number one.
Oh, it's exciting.
First Aussie. Here we go.
You know, just you. Are you
fuck it up.
Are you the first Australians to headline Wacken?
Definitely the first Australian metal band.
Yeah,
I'll
that's
put it that way.
good.
So yeah.
How was that? Just side note before we get into the show.
Nothing much.
Nothing much, mate.
It was mental. Yeah. It literally was the one. It was the one. It was the best show I've ever played.
Awesome.
The one where you expect something to go wrong because it's too good, and then nothing goes wrong, and you're like, oh shit, that happened.
And you set a lot of stuff on fire.
Oh yeah, we burned it all. It was great.
Yeah, you burned it.
It was really nice. Walked through the crowd, like everything on fire. Whole thing moshing, like 80,000 people jumping up and down. It's nuts.
Can I ask about the fur coat?
Yeah.
I just want to know about it. What's the story? Why do you sashay into a stadium show in a fur coat?
You got to though, don't you?
Is it?
Who
Please
else
tell
is
me.
looking like that?
It's true.
It's got to be a statement. Like
It's
what
true.
the idea literally was, like, it's a statement of like no one else is. You got to. That's me.
Yeah.
That's me. Who else is wearing a fur coat at the metal gig? I literally put it on, walk in, and then take it off when I got on stage.
Whilst you're getting all profound, the title track is a ballad.
Yeah.
The title track is a stone cold ballad.
7.5 minute ballad.
It's a 7.5 minute ballad. He's not messing around, guys.
No, we ain't
this
fucking
is some
around.
real shit.
Yeah.
It's a fuck you. It's a come with me. It's a lot of things. Tell us a bit about that. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a ballad smacked straight in the middle of the record.
Yeah.
You can't escape this thing.
You're not messing around.
I mean, the best way that I can describe, actually a lot of this album, but especially this song, is like this record is the skill and experience catching up with the imagination.
Yeah.
There's parts on this record where we're like, no, we're November raining this shit. Like straight up, that's it. Like when we started writing this, we're like, Jeff had the whole, when he played that guitar break for the first time, I'm like, you're slashing, you're walking out of the church. It's got to be nothing less than that. And that's what it's got to be. Like, it's
to use
like,
your
no,
illusion moment. I'm an appetite guy, but respect.
100%. Yeah, 100%. Like I'm an appetite guy as well. But there's no denying, like, when you go for something that epic.
Yeah.
You gotta go, like, there's a reason those moments are iconic as well. Like, so we were trying to, like, with several elements of this album, we're trying to tap into something that was just so big and beyond anything we'd done before. But we could imagine it. Like, we could actually imagine it. And we're like, for the first time ever, we know that there's like 1,000 pieces to putting this puzzle together, but we actually know what the pieces are. Previously, we'd open up the box and half the pieces were missing or the cat had eaten them. Yeah. And you're like, I don't even know how to finish this idea. So we'll just like, that's when you bring back in something that's comfortable, which you know what to do, and you roll it into a more comfortable concept. A lot of these songs, the concept behind it and the whole album was just like, go mental. When we started this band, we're a bunch of hardcore kids that wanted to do something more metallic because it was a challenge.
Because you'd have to play. You'd actually have to be able to like sick players.
Yeah, that's it.
And
try and figure some shit out. And like Jeff, as a guitarist, had never been in a band before, and his favourite band in the world is Metallica. Black Album, his favourite album.
He's a Black Album guy.
100%.
Yeah.
Loves it. Like he loves, like
That
not only
makes
sound
sense.
quality, but like he loves the soul of the melodies as much as he loves just the thrash energy. So we have always, like, if you grew up in the 90s, you know, everyone has a connection to Guns N' Roses, Pantera, Machine Head, Metallica, Maiden. They're these bands which, like in the 90s, when a metal band or even a hard rock band got big, they sold millions of albums and were pop culture icons.
Yes.
We've said really a lot in this that a lot of this came from a 90s influence. Yeah. Because that's when we were listening to music, be it grunge or punk or metal or anything like that. Yeah. Fucking White Zombie through to Metallica through to Blink.
So your new albums, you take some big ass swings, man. You're taking some big swings. You're going to alienate a lot of people. You're going to find a lot of people who are going to fall in love with it, and a lot of people are going to be mad. Yep. So I want to talk about like where you came from to here. I know you've said straight out, we outgrew metalcore. Yeah. Quite
100%.
Yeah. But what did it mean to you back then, and where are you at now? Yeah.
Oh, it still means the exact same thing.
Yeah.
It's all like, so the progression that we've made has been just growing as people and artists.
Yeah.
It's like really, really, really basic.
Yeah.
It's I think the concept of being true to something or tying yourself to an identity or anything like that has been, I think someone missed a very, if someone thinks that applied to us, they missed a very crucial part of the band's history, which is literally why the band formed. Because we wanted to do something different and grow.
Yes.
We wanted to do something.
And it's been an evolution.
It's a constant evolution. So, that's what it is. It's been an evolution of not only people, but our skill level and how we are able to grow our craft to articulate the different influences we have.
Yeah.
While still staying where we love. We always reevaluate what we love about it, and we're like, we still love being a heavy band. Still love distorted guitars. Still love heavy drums. I still love screaming in bits.
Yeah.
And it's like the roots are there. It's just as this has gone on, the roots have stayed anchored, but the tree has just grown, and the branches have grown and grown and grown and grown and grown. And every time you get something new, you still hear where the roots are. It's just the tree is way bigger now. I don't have a limit for what I see this band can do, because at this point in time, I have 20 years to prove to me that you shouldn't limit. You shouldn't just go, I don't know, there's a ceiling for this. You can only get so big. I'm like, nah, man. At this point in time, like, I've got so many friends and I've met so many people who are like, I didn't actually like metal. And then my friend showed me this and I actually like it. It's sick. This is the first gig I've ever been to. And it's been like that for 20 years. And I'm like, there's not a barrier to this. The barrier is the perception.
You're a gateway drug.
100%.
You're a gateway drug to a whole world.
100%. Parkway is a gateway band.
Yeah.
100%. And I'm super, super proud to be that.
When was the first time you saw Pyro and went, fuck yeah?
Probably Slipknot.
Yeah. Yeah?
Yeah. In a Euro fest, I saw Slipknot for the first time. And the first time I saw Flames, I was like, fire, fire. It's just like, just like Beavis just going, fire, fire. And I was like, this is sick. I didn't think we could actually ever use it.
Yeah.
Just because like we weren't even close to that position.
Yeah.
But when we did a co-headliner in Europe for the, when we pushed over into a few arenas, we hit co-headline with Heaven Shall Burn, who are in a similar
Great
position.
Band. Yeah.
Yeah, it was rad. And but between the two of us, we were like, we can use a bit of pyro. So we had like a set design and we used some pyro and we split the cost and everything. We did this set like on a co-headliner where it was rad. They covered a Parkway song, they covered Unrest, and what did we cover? The Weapon They Fear. So we covered each other's songs in the set as well. It was a really, really cool, but that was the first pyro moment. And from there,
it escalated.
Yeah, it escalated because what we realized was this the link between the visuals and the way the songs are perceived. We already had a concept of it. If you hit them with strobes during a really fast bit, man, that bit goes intense. We realized there's a difference between listening to a breakdown on CD, listening to a breakdown when a band plays it, and when they're literally shooting flamethrowers at your face.
It's really cool.
The heaviness gets even more intense. Yeah. And I saw it in people's eyes. I was just like, fuck, man, it works. We're going to
drop some coin on
this. Yeah. But the really, really, really big one that happened, it wasn't just pyro. It was literally stagecraft, because we got to a point where, we were doing arenas on our own. And we watched, we did a festival season where Rammstein were headlining. And I watched Rammstein headline Download. And the thing for me then was we'd watched them 3 nights before in Germany, and I was like, this is fucking sick. And then I watched them play to 80 to 100,000 people at Download in the UK. The show is absolutely phenomenal. Obviously, it's the best show you can ever see. The pyro and stuff is amazing, but the way it engages you is different from just flames. That part's rad, but what they are able to do with the way they present the show itself, and the way it flows and the ebbs and flow of the entire things and the way that you engage with it, it was very obvious that it went beyond the language connection of being able to say, you guys know this one, sing along. I'm like, no one here speaks fucking German. No. They don't know what the hell he's singing about. They literally don't know what this song is about, but palm of your hand.
Yeah.
And I was I'm going to try and get merch and stuff, and I couldn't stop looking at the stage, and I'm like, that's a different thing.
Yeah.
That's a different thing, and it's completely applicable to what we're trying to do. Doesn't mean you have to emulate what they're doing. Doesn't mean you have to try and imitate what they're doing, but understand the power that there is in the visual creation and the journey that you're going on with the actual show itself.
Yeah.
And that's where we've gone as a band, because as much as I love doing a tiny sweaty club gig, I've done a billion of them.
Yeah.
And that holds a special place in my heart, and I love doing them. But with the same thing of the growth of the music, the same growth of a performer and my relationship to music. And that was another thing of realizing in the same moment that it clicked with me, like, why those big stages exist for a reason and what you can do with them, is it clicked of like what resonates with me about a sweaty club gig and that environment of like having no barrier and it just being completely primal. Like I'm like, I get all of that stuff now.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's when it came in, and then we started really thinking about like that side of the craft, because we're in rooms where it's like, there's 5,000 people minimum here tonight. Yeah. You've got a stage which, like, fuck man, you put a drum kit on it and it's like someone's just flicked a penny into the middle of a, like, just gone, bling, there's this tiny little thing, and you're like, you've got to put something up there. But if you think of it in a different way of like, you basically have a sandbox to create a world. As soon as people come in, they want to be in your world. Yeah. They will take whatever you give them in terms of what you choose to curate of the evening. And you're the soundtrack to, like, the world of Parkway. How far do you want to let him in on this thing?
You're a streamed band, right? And I was thinking, like, it might be interesting to talk about like 3 songs that people have streamed the living hell out of. And the most streamed song on your Spotify is Pray, with 56 million streams. So tell us a bit about who you were as a fan writing that, and something we might not know about that song.
Whoa.
Just
fucking
that was
hell.
a nice sideline. We just got out of like the history of music, and I just went back.
The history
right
of
back
music
into your
in
song.
general.
Yeah.
No, it's good.
Get back to that. It just popped into my head. Yeah.
Pray was like the first Jeff obsession song, I think, because there's a lot of songs on this new record where Jeff got obsessed and went down wormholes for like 20 years and sent himself insane. But he played that riff for like an entire fucking tour. An entire tour, he was in the back of the bus and we're trying to write different things, and he just kept playing the riff, and we're like, it's a sick riff, man. Let's write a song out. And they're like, yep. And then he just keep playing this one riff, and I was like, fuck, I just want to work on something else. Just write me something else. I know it's good, but when we got home from it, I was like, if he has played it this much, like, Ben actually came to me and we're like, we're not making any headway here because he's not moving off that riff. And I was like, just let him do his thing. You know that if he's stuck on something, he's found something which is resonating. And I literally got back from tour and he had like 30 seconds of like 2 parts, and I'm like, I'm gonna make this a song with you. And then we like, you do that, and then you stop playing that riff for this bit.
Yeah, how did you go into it, like lyrically and stuff? Yeah.
How
do you? Yeah.
Lyrically is interesting because either I have a concept beforehand which fits, and I resonate with something which I've already written, because I write a ton of stuff. Most of stuff doesn't.
You're prolific?
I'm quite prolific, but most of the stuff doesn't make the cut. I just write. And a lot of the time, like, words will happen after the music, but sometimes the words are there and I'm like, this is that, which I've already got in soundtrack form. But that song was like, it just came about after the music. Like, I think I wrote the chorus first, and then we went through a bunch of different verses. We changed around the verse vibes. But we put that song together quite quick, because I was just like, the riff is huge, the verses need to be really subdued, and let's just have a rumbling like drum beat through the verses, and I'm going to do something real creepy on it, so the choruses can explode. We kind of haven't had a song ever like that before. Like, we've had Vice Grip, and that's the closest thing, and even then that still just rocks on through the entire way. I was like, we're creeping out on this one. Like, we're creeping out. Yeah. And then we're going to have a big breakdown in the middle.
People really love it.
Yeah, 100%. I get it.
It's free. Like, they're still making the choice.
Oh, 100%. Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
Okay.
Really shot myself in the foot with that.
I know. Yeah. No, I thought it was really.
Our music means nothing.
I thought it was really funny. Just kind of the segue. Then Carrion off Horizons, which, as you said, is the soundtrack.
Oh, that's a decent one. Yeah.
A soundtrack to a lot of people's.
So here's a really interesting one. We've been talking about this actually the last couple of days. The way we basically used to write songs is zero songcraft whatsoever. It was like, write a riff, and once you finish playing that riff for 4 or 8 bars, you write another riff. then you write another riff, and you write another riff, and then after it takes up 2.5 to 3 minutes, that's called a song, and then you go on and you write some more, and you write another song. That was all we used to do, and they work. I don't know how the fuck they work. Like, they work kind of, those songs, in the sense that they have an existence and they're enjoyable to listen to, which is really, really cool in themselves. But when we went and recorded with Adam for the first time, we gave him the demo songs.
Yeah.
And that's when he started explaining to us how songs work. So we're like, here's the demos, and he's like, that's a really cool riff, man. And we're like, sick. And he's like, why don't you play it again? And we're like, because we played it. You can't reuse a riff. What's that? And he's like, it's a good riff. Like, people want to hear it again. Give it some more time. And I'm like, who's this wacko?
So, yeah, Adam,
who's this guy? How do you get big?
Adam and Killswitch engaged briefly. Yeah. What did you walk away from that? They went and made
a record with Adam D, and then we went back and did another one. Yeah, a massive influence.
In the 2000s.
Yeah, a massive,
kind
massive
of peak Killswitch times.
Yeah, fully.
Yeah, when Killswitch were absolutely
possibly the biggest slap of like, holy shit, that's happening. In like, that was the first big one of like, I can I'm going to tangent, then I'm coming.
We got one more song, so
I'm tangenting, then we're coming back to Carrion.
We're coming back.
I remember, like, literally the conversation, driving through the hay plains. For anyone outside of Australia, or probably anyone in Australia who's never driven through the hay plains, because fucking hell, they're in the middle of nowhere. The hay plains is a section of Australia that you're driving through, that you hit this section of road where there is nothing growing higher than your ankle for 4 hours straight. And you can see car headlights when you're driving at night, and you go, ooh, car's coming, and you don't go past that car until 40 minutes later. That's how far the distance is.
Dude.
It's a really desolate, wild place to be, and you had to drive through it on your touring schedule to get to Adelaide. And we're driving back from Adelaide gig talking about, like, we should write an album for the first time. And yeah, like, it was early on. It was before Killing with a Smile.
Yeah.
And we're talking about, what do we do? And we're like, we should get a producer. Producers seem to do things. Like, they seem to do things.
Like, who do you want to...
I know, yeah. Like, this is it. Like, this is the reality of the band's existence. Yeah. Like, producers seem to do things. Who would we want to produce it? And it's like 2 a.m. after a gig, hay plains, middle of nowhere. And all of our favourite albums at the time were produced by this dude called Adam Dukowitz, who was also in Killswitch, who were fucking huge. And we're like, he's done things, and those albums sounded really good. They're our favourite albums, so let's put 2 and 2 together. Let's get him to do something with us. And we're like, no fucking way is this guy going to want to do something with these nobodies from Australia. And Luke hit him up, and yeah, come on over. I got like 3 weeks. We'll do a record in like 3 weeks. It ended up being like 2.5 weeks. Like, I tracked the vocals for that entire album in 2 days. I blew my voice out on day 1 of vocals, because I'd never done an album before.
You guys really just rolled into it,
We just rolled. And then, like, I had like 2 days left because we were running out of time. And on the last day, I was like, I'm tracking the whole of this album in 1 day. And like, I had half of Romance is Dead done, and that was it. And I tracked the rest of the album with like Wayness, the engineer, while the other guys tracked guitars with Adam in a supplementary room, and I tracked the entire album in 1 day.
You're a stone cold loon.
Yeah, and I'm actually kind of surprised how much it holds up, but I can definitely hear.
People love that. Shit. Well, they've listened to it 45 million times.
I know. Yeah. It's crazy. Yeah. Well, yeah. So Carrion. Look, but that's all right. The next album I learned not to destroy my voice as much. But Carrion was the song which was the last song written for the album for Horizons. Yep. We needed another song, and we were like, we want to write a song with Adam. We actually want to do one with him because he's got some good stuff to say. We realised how much we learnt from him after that, and the songcraft you can hear has changed on Horizons. All of a sudden, there's some riffs repeated. There's a bit more structure to the songs, and we're like,
I love it. That was your learning.
Yeah, we learnt from good people. That's the thing. It's trial by fire. But we rocked up to metalcore school.
Metalcore Harvard. Yeah.
100%. Like, literally, Adam went to Harvard. So,
no,
he didn't. He went to, who did he go to?
One of those guys.
He went to one of those
Cambridge?
sick music schools. Adam went to Berkeley. It was Berkeley. Adam, still fucking hell. So, So
Massachusetts.
Yeah,
same place.
Same shit.
And
so we're like, we're gonna write a record with him, and there was a couple of riffs floating around, and we wrote Carrion with him, and everyone in the band hated it except me. Hated it. Well, literally, like, they were like, this song's not fast enough. The breakdowns aren't heavy enough. There's like, it's not actually very good. And I wrote the lyrics for it like in the hotel room because I was incredibly homesick, and like it's like a heartbreak song about fucking leaving my now wife for the millionth time to go on tour. And I was like, I got the words, the song's called Carrion. This song is really fucking good. And even after it was on the record and we took it home, they were like, this record's sick. That song that we wrote with Adam is definitely the filler song of the album. And it's like, it's not that great, but we needed it. And I'm like, no, this is going to be good. And then it changed like 2 days later when Luke's dad, he's like, my dad really loves that Carrion song. And I'm like, watch. And I think Ben's parents were like, that Carrion song's really good.
Well, these are gateway drug songs. These are your gateway drug songs.
100%. Adam knew it.
Send around.
It was the expansion of the sound. Adam knew it. It was a slower song. It had hooks in it in the way that we hadn't used them before. And the vulnerability was in there. And I resonated with it very quickly, and the other guys didn't. But they got it later on.
Yeah.
And especially once we started playing it, like the first time we played that song in Brisbane, like it blew my head off. Everyone screaming that thing back. That was the first time we had like choruses, which people would sing. And like
what would be chorus?
We'd never had a chorus before.
You'd never had a big chorus.
Yeah, and like we got backstage and I was like, they sung like half of that song. I didn't even have to sing it.
You don't have to do anything. This is great.
It wasn't just like someone yelling a swear word in a gap before a breakdown. It was like sing a chorus, an entire chorus.
That's a pretty cool feeling.
Oh, it was rad. It was and then the riot squad descended on Brisbane and the entire Fortitude Valley got shut down.
Yeah, that whole thing.
And there was a riot.
What, like really?
Yeah.
No, yeah, of course, yeah.
The infamous riot. I'll tell you the story of that if you don't. Okay, where are you from?
No, I'm from Sydney.
Okay, so this is what happened on
this is they don't know.
Here's some history about Parkway.
Tell them.
When we released Horizons, the album, like, that was peak Parkway, like, craziness in terms of, like, the follow-on from what we talked about of the high schools. We played a venue called the Arena in Brisbane, and before that, we watched Hatebreed and Soulfly play there the year before, and there was a few people, but it wasn't sold out. It's like a 1,000 capacity venue.
Yeah.
We booked it, and like a week later, Graham, who booked it, was like, got to book another night. And we're like, why? And he's like, sold out. We're like, you mean sold out? Gigs don't sell out. He's like, sold out. The arena's sold out. We play this show at the Arena. It's the Horizons album launch. Carrion's enormous. It's mental, like absolute mental. We're just looking at each other going, what the hell is going on? Security guards have never seen anything like it. They freak the fuck out and call the cops because they're just like, this venue is getting destroyed. It wasn't actually crazy. They just had no idea. They'd never seen anything like it before. The Queensland police turn up and they're like, riot squad's called in.
What? I remember this. It's just
because it literally made front cover national newspaper.
I remember this. Yes.
Riot squad comes in. The show gets shut down, and we're just like, security's shutting it down early. We only got 2 songs left. Whatever. We're playing here tomorrow night. Fuck, this is pretty hectic. I get a phone call from my sister going, I'm getting chased down the street by the dog squad. And I'm like, what the fuck is going on? They freaked out that hard that they shut the entire Fortitude Valley district of Brisbane down. I don't know how many people, like how many squads were there, but like literally a line of riot police with the dogs herding people down the street just to clear the entire district because of the Parkway gig. And then the front cover of the newspapers, like the next day, was heavy metal riot shuts down Brisbane. Give me a third song.
That was The Void.
Yeah, The Void. That's a good one too, actually.
Yeah.
So The Void was, it started with the riff. And the riff was actually supposed to be, so The Void and Cemetery Bloom got written together, which is why they're sequenced in that order. The idea was to create like this, what Cemetery Bloom is, and then it drop into something that kicks you in the face, like a riff that kicks you in the face. But originally they were one song, and Jeff wrote the riff to The Void, and it was actually like, we had to enter Sandman it in the sense of like it was the one refrain which played over a lot quicker than it did, instead of sitting on that fast bit before it went into the turnaround. And I was like, nah, Sandman it. Like, you saw the documentary, man. Just like play that one bit a few times and then give it the turnaround. And we're like, that's a really cool riff. We should make a song around that.
And you did.
And then we did. And I was like, now Cemetery can be this really fucked up weird concept for the setup for it.
Yeah.
So we built it around that riff, and the idea was basically that it's an intro, like when the song drops, it's like a drop kick to the face without it being a breakdown, it just stomps. Because we hadn't really had a stomper of a song yet.
Everyone needs a stomper.
Yeah, I mean, we've slowly been acquiring.
You've got a few now.
We've got a few stompers, and now we've got a ballad, but we've slowly, like, with like Magpies, we see some little different thing we haven't done before that gets our arm, we bring it back to the nest and we weave it in. And this was like the first fully stomper that wasn't just like breakdown orientated.
Yeah.
Because there's no breakdown in the entire song. It's just like big choruses, bridge where Jeff solos his guts out, more extended choruses, and a stomping riff. Like the heaviness is just in the stomp.
What are 3 bands you love their hard right turns?
Oh. Converge?
Converge, yes.
Converge, like, they're not massive hard right turns, but you look where it started and you look where it's gone, especially with like Blood Moon. Nick Cave, for me, watching the evolution of the artist of Nick Cave is absolutely like #1 influence for me. Code Orange, forever. Like that was like all of a sudden the industrial thing was like there, and that record went so hard, like, and it was really like, it was their defining right turn as well, because Underneath came after it and like kind of just made that record seem small in terms of like the right turnness. It like just went in a really good way. But Code Orange forever.
If God Can Bleed is your Nick Cave moment.
Yeah.
You get in your nice growly like your nice growly dark whisper scary business. Yeah. Can you tell us a bit about If a God Can Bleed?
I really resonate with like with that darker singer-songwritery murder ballady, like. So Tom Waits and Nick Cave, massive influences. I've cited them many times before, but massive influences. And the things that resonate with me is like, is character. Like character is what I bring to the band, and it always has been. Like it's been, I can scream, I can do gutturals, I can do high screams, whatever the fuck you want.
Do some nice cleans on this record.
Yeah, that's it.
Bam.
But the things that have always popped out has been it's the broken moments when the humanity pops through. It's like, for me, it's never been about like, holy shit, he's really technical at doing what he does, and
that's what people connect to.
Exactly, and that's what I connect to. It's the broken moments where you get let in.
Watching you guys, because I've been writing about music and stuff for a long time. So you guys have always been a big deal, quite frankly, in Australia. That sounds.
We're kind of the last ones to know it.
But you've always been a big deal in heavy metal writing and shit. And it's like, it's cool to see you transcend the headliner thing, because we do. Not that it's a problem, but it kind of is a problem in that we have a kind of a headliner stagnation. Not a problem.
Oh no, it's a problem.
But it's a problem where the same bands have been headlining for 25 years, and there is some sick ass bands in there. But how on earth does the next generation step up, and how does it feel to be one of those people who have?
Rad.
Yeah.
Because it has to happen.
It really does. There's a real generational problem.
Time is real.
Yeah.
Time is real. That's the thing.
Yeah.
And it's that same. I tell you what the relationship is. It's the same catch-22 as what I was saying with when we first started and we tried to tour overseas.
Yeah.
You need a record to get over there, but to get over there, you got to play, and you got to have a record out. Like you kind of screwed. Like you need to prove yourself as a headliner, but
we're not going to give you a slot.
How do you get a slot if you haven't proven yourself as a headliner? Yeah. Like it's a hard position to be in, and it's not just a hard position for bands, but it's a hard position for promoters. Like that is a real.
Well, it's a huge. You're throwing a ton of money on the table.
Risk. Like it's not like this. This is not happening because people are just like really just want to see them do the same thing over and over again. Every promoter is in the same boat of like they need the support of the fans to bring these bands through, and it needs to, like, there's a reason that those people got to those statuses was because like people were active in their support. It's a problem. It's a problem that needs to be solved, but that's fine. Like the way we approach it is just literally like we put on a gig which you will walk away from and you will tell your friends about. If you think about it as well, the other band coming, the closest one to us in a similar position, in terms of coming through, has been like Avenged Sevenfold, and they were headliners. They started like 10 years ago, and still they went for a fucking long time before getting to that position.
Yeah.
And then you look at like the headliner of like a Rolling Loud or a mainstream festival, and it's someone who's like on album number 1 or 2. Like, it's hype. It's literally hype that gets them to a headlining status.
Isn't it weird?
Yeah, and it's one of the awesome things about metal. Like, legacy is fantastic. I love the fact that when someone reaches this, does something of quality, it's not forgotten about.
Yeah,
that's pure and true. But I think like as young bands coming through, there's a lot of learning that can go into this craft that is not taught or not spoken about or not understood. Like, we always evolve. The show is an evolving concept, which we have in our minds of like, there's at least 3 stages to every show that you're going to get. So the next time it comes back around, you're going to get things which your friend told you missed.
3 bands who should be headliners right now who aren't yet.
Behemoth. Like, yeah, their style of black metal and what they do with their stage show, and even their sound, like, it's accessible in its extremity. But like, that's a nuts thing to say. But fucking hell, like, I watch their show and I watch their music videos and I listen to their albums, and I'm like, there's something here which translates in a way that the masses could actually get, and that they curate in a way which is rad.
Yeah.
Rad. Like, I've seen them play 3 p.m. when I'm like, you could probably be headlining this thing and it'd still go over fucking well. Like, it'd go over really well. Who else is there? I'd say A Day to Remember.
Yeah.
They've got the legacy behind it as well. Like, they put on a gig, like, they know how to hit all the points. You put them in front of any size crowd and that crowd will have a really, really fucking good time. Bring Me the Horizon. Like, they already are.
Yeah, I think they are, yeah.
But they know their shit.
Yeah.
And
they know their shit.
They know their No, they know how to do their shit.
They know their shit. I thought you said they know their shit. Like,
no,
they know
their
shit.
crap.
Who's your musical Mount Rushmore if you had 4 faces carved into the stone?
Oh, damn.
Yeah.
Johnny Cash, Tom Waits, Nick Cave. How many faces do I get?
4. Wow, that is very...
Till
Lindemann. Yeah.
Rammstein.
One more. 5 songs that changed your life.
Oh!
Just to keep it nice and simple, Winston.
Small Change, Tom Waits. Yeah, Part 3, Bad Religion. The Prodigy. The whole music for the Jilted Generation, but mainly Voodoo People. White Zombie. Electric Head. And Nick Cave, Into My Arms.